Okay, so let's explore this idea of drawing on spiritual powers to do martial arts more. Page 11, the introduction of the book. Last paragraph, second sentence. Each art provided a path of spiritual development that could take an exceptional adept to one of the highest forms of honor in Africa, the status of a transcendent hero. Someone who was initiated into full mastery of Ngolo could become a special kind of ancestor, one who could physically manifest in the bodies of his descendants. So here you have probably the most powerful example of an application of spiritual power that is being done by somebody who is not the Son of God or something. You know, he is using his cultivation of spiritual power to connect with the ancestors, and the ancestors use their spiritual power, which they partially cultivated through martial arts, to reincarnate or to come back and to manifest in the bodies of their descendants. Remember, I'm Biafran with the Biafran tattoo. Similarly, the Biafran art of Umba and its cognate could serve as a tool to achieve the highest of honors. A master of the martial art de Umba who remained true to the accompanying moral code could become a transcendent hero, the most honored of ancestors who could be called upon for guidance in important matters and could reincarnate among the living while retaining a position among the dead ancestors. In this sense, both Ngolo and Umba can be understood as martial arts, and more specifically as martial ways in the strict sense. So the martial ways, the ways they went with it, the ancient paradigm, I believe in actually having honor. The white man deals in illusions, and there are many Asian cultures, whoever they are, that believe in saving face, killing oneself to help your master save face. Poisoning your master's enemies can be considered honorable because you're helping them maintain their, image of honor, their illusion of honor. Whereas African martial artists, we constantly are looked at by other races as lowly. They didn't allow us to have knives because they didn't see us as having any honor to defend anyway. So we do not give a shit about your martial art perceptions. We don't give a fuck about what you think honor is. We live a life where if you're gonna have honor, it must be in reality. And when you do, chances are, because of non-blacks, you will never be given your credit. So I ask the viewers now, which one is more honorable? A bunch of drug-dealing, covert drugging pussies who team up with the CIA, to try to cheat me out of my rightful place for the same reason the CIA drugs the black community, right? To maintain white supremacy and narratives of white genetic supremacy. Okay? To maintain the illusion of them being more honorable. To maintain the narrative that we're the ruffian criminals, that they're the knights in shining armor, and that they're the honorable people. Okay? That's their perception of honor. I reject their philosophies. I reject their ideas of quote-unquote honor. I live in reality. And because I live in reality, even though they are cheating me, I feel a little bit better today. The challenge is back on. Chukwuemeka is the top martial artist, covertly drugged and otherwise. And I've threatened to end my challenge many times. And the psychological effect of that is that people are like, we should have stopped him when we could have, if we could have, right? Well, here you go again. Here's another chance to all those cheaters. You deal in illusion. I have taught people to live in reality. You live in a state of dishonor from my perspective. And I proudly accept you thinking that I'm dishonorable. You illusion bitches. Reality is what matters. Honor in real life. Not this little kind of cartoon, Pokemon, New World Order, Miss Kitty illusion that you're living. A few tricks by a little kitten does not make him the top martial artist when the leopard could rip out his throat in a fraction of a second. Furthermore, in a society that plays stupid about the hate crime on the wall, very disrespectful hate crime they put on the wall on my parents' property, where my cousins used to play handball. And if they ever came back to visit, they would play handball again, only to see a white supremacist graffiti disrespecting African martial arts and African people, portraying them as sickly, weakly little chimps or something. When you are the pale ones that hid historically until you had technology, and hid and hide currently even with your technology, your gyms, your trainers, your performance enhancing drugs. 3 powerful advantages that you can never deny no matter what you do, that we all know you have and I don't. You are the pussies who expect us to believe that with 15 witnesses, with 2 people verifying that you're drugging my drinks, 2 people verifying you're fuming me, okay? With the hate crime on the wall, with dozens of interviews with people, 175 IQ, a college degree, on and on, right? You expect us all to believe that I'm schizophrenic or something. Everyone take a good look at that wall picture and think about how long it took someone to make it. And does it not suggest that they were stalking me and waited till the right time and then did it? Imagine if they did it at night, for instance. They go out to the country at night in the middle of nowhere, okay? They risk being killed by the top martial artist in a rural area where there's no street lights, in the middle of nowhere. You know, they have some kind of flashlight or some kind of light device that helps them see, and they draw that on the wall. Or they've been stalking me all day, every day, and they knew exactly when to do it, and they got my parents to play stupid or something. I mean, no matter how you slice it, these bitches lost. And even though the challenge is still on, to the insightful observer, I'm already the top. I've won for quite some time now. And no matter what you do, at best, all you can possibly be are the bitches who beat me when I was heavily drugged. I've won. Now, if you want to have any semblance of honor, you people will publicly recognize that I'm the top martial artist and put my posters, you know, make posters of me and put them in your schools. Anyone who does not do that, you know, should not be, any school that does not do that should not be recognized by the black community as even a legitimate martial arts school. Because they are cowards. They are liars. They are New World Order shills. Unlike these racist American eugenicists, I don't wear a uniform with an American flag on it. You know, a martial arts uniform with an American flag on it. That is bitch shit. I do not respect America, nor the non-black martial arts that do not give me my credit. Shame on them. Shame on them. We all know I am faster and more intense than you, and you're trying to drug the God energy out of me, because it is that energy that I masterfully wield and control, that I can move faster and more intensely, more precisely, more effectively, with more dexterity than you can, and defeat you. Transferable skills, universal skills, communicable skills, translatable skills, convertible skills. I am the top, and anyone who publicly says anything to the contrary is deeply dishonoring themselves in reality. Now, you can have some non-black sense of honor. You know, let's all loop black people together and divide Africa, her people, and her resources together. Kind of bitch-made philosophy. But at the end of the day, it pales in comparison. None of you, in your wildest dreams, could have done what I have done. So even if you think, in your opinion, that someone's better, fuck your opinion. You're not as good as I am. You are not as wise as I am. My opinion is the only one that matters. So fuck you. You know where you can go with your bitch shit. Where all the other non-Christian filth go. I am a Christian Igbo, and I have conquered these cowards. All praises to God, and honor to Igbo and leopards. Whenever you wonder why I had to put it in a way that is so rude, well, what do you think happens when you use treachery to try to cheat someone out of their rightful place? And whenever you argue that they're not as good as they say that they are, You use your cultural perspective, your cultural values as the foundation of your argument. You know, your publicly acknowledged false belief system. We all know it's fucking fake and bullshit. Yeah, that. If you were to look at this thing scientifically, because of the different types of energy, genetics, biology, etc., heredity, the martial artists are the only people who can, from a scientific perspective, truly claim that they are the spiritual continuity of their ancestors. Long ago, you had three major categories of people who affected religious perspectives. You had the people who were legitimate spiritual beings, people who were actually prophets, actually saints, actually divinely ordained kings and stuff like that. Then you had a bunch of psychologists in cults. Psychology is just the continuity of trickery, cult trickery. Okay. And then you had martial artists. When all is said and done, there's no more prophets or saints. There's just these cult psychologists, New Age ninnies, and the cults that, who are psychologists who infiltrated the churches and every religion in the world. So when all is said and done, the only true spiritual priesthoods we have are martial artists. And when you consider that martial artists are all Babylonian scum, but a few, you're left with me and a world full of fake-ass bitches who should shut the fuck up and bow down to the man who's closest to God. The more you try to prevent and intervene with someone as smart and determined as myself, the more he will consider that and make it worse. The more you try to justify what you're doing with your false belief system, and you don't concede his point, you don't try to make it right, you don't admit what you're doing, you don't pay him compensation, the more guaranteed bad things are going to happen. So what they're doing is the recipe for disaster. And the log that crushed this camel's back is called white denial. At the end of the day, there's not a shred of evidence that would suggest that I'm not as good as I say that I am. I have the world record. Furthermore, I have 15 witnesses, and I have about 10 people who have went on record saying that they believe I'm the top martial artist as well. How stupid would you have to be to listen to what anyone else has to say about it? What evidence do they have? What evidence to the contrary do they have to base their opinions on? None. So they would be dishonorable to even speak on it, especially knowing damn well they couldn't have done what I've done, and nobody that they've ever met in their prime could have done what I've done.